Hi, welcome to your first class in tarot. Today we're going to be talking about the suits of the tarot. Just like a playing card deck, you're going to have suits. Like in a playing card deck, you have the clubs, the diamonds, I can't think of the spade, that sort of thing. Well, it's the same concept in tarot reading. Only we have swords, cups, wands, and pentacles. And I'm going to explain to you what each of those suits mean. So we'll get started with the swords. So you're always going to see in the sword, any card that represents swords, you'll see swords in the card, just like you see in this card. I'm using the Alice in Wonderland deck, which is a fun whimsy deck I've enjoyed. So you see the swords here. Swords always means conflict. Whenever you see that, it means conflict. So the next one is the cups. Cups is about healing, spiritual things, love, emotional matters. And you always will see water. So anytime you dream about water, that's about healing. So cups represents healing, spiritual matters, emotions, love. Next we have the wands, and you're always going to see a wand in the picture. So with Alice in Wonderland deck, the big stick or whatever that the lion has in his hand, that represents a wand. Wand is about work. It could be work on oneself, or it could also represent physical work. It depends on the reading, and always remember to follow your intuition. But wands always represents work of some kind. The next one is pentacles. So the pentacles, like you see the pentacles here. Now, let me tell you, I have a tarot deck, and it kind of threw me off a little bit because they didn't use the word pentacles. They used the word laurels, Laurels, which means pentacles. Every other card deck I've ever had, it always read as pentacles. But pentacles is about money, or it's having to do with earthly, tangible things. So there you have it on the meanings of each suit. Now I want to go into the royalty, because you're going to have your numbers. It's going to be 2 through 10, and then you have your ace, which actually represents the number 1, but ace, just like in a regular tarot deck. So then you have ace, and then you have page, knight, queen, king. So I'm going to discuss that with you. Let me pull my cards. King, queen, page, and ace. Yay! I got it all right here in front of me. So the ace, again, it in a way represents 1. Ace is about new beginnings. It's something new, something fresh has started. So you have to excuse me, I'm having my morning coffee. So just think of something that, when you see the ace in a reading, it means that something fresh and new is starting, a new beginning. And then we see the page. So the best way to describe the page is like when you're at the beginning of something brand new, you may be walking into unknown territory. So the page is so brand new and very immature at what is in front of them that they really need to stop and just observe. Don't make any rational movements or decisions or anything. And to give you a good example, this is the Alice in Wonderland deck, and I love this. This is the one that I'm showing you is the Page of Swords. So with it being swords, we already know that it's conflict, right? Um, so there's some sort of new conflict in somebody's life. So if I was reading this card, I would say, okay, there's some sort of conflict. It's brand new to you. It's like almost the beginning of the situation. But if you look at this card, he is a page, so he's like brand new on this, and you can kind of see like uh he's coming from some mountains and there's a lot of clouds, so things may not be quite clear to him, because he's so new, or this is just like a new situation. But notice he's got a scroll here, and those are the directions. To me, when I'm looking at this card, I'm thinking, well, he's in conflict and he can get through this if he follows directions, if he listens. So when I see a page, I tell people, just stop. Don't do anything. Just stop and listen and observe. And that's how you learn. So that's the page. Next, we're going to go on to the Knight. And I have a Knight of Cups. This is one that I drew. So the Knight is a little bit more mature, a little more seasoned than the page. He's had a little bit more experience. But yet he still lacks experience, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's still so much more for him to learn. If this was a conflict, if this is the Knight of Swords, I would be telling somebody, don't make a rational decision, an irrational decision. Don't make an immediate decision. You really have to look at the big picture. So don't go, charging into something really quickly. If it was Pentacles, I would be telling somebody, don't sign any contracts. Don't take any offers right now. Think about it. I'm not saying that you're not going to take any offers or you're not going to sign that contract. But what I'm telling you, what I would be telling that person is to be very cautious, have a legal person look into it if it requires that. But just kind of sleep on it and look at the big picture, because there could be something in fine writing that you're not seeing, or maybe you're missing something. Even though you may be experienced in whatever the situation is, you've got to take a look at the full picture. I had a guy a long time ago, this was years ago, and the Knight of Wands, I believe, came up. And he was I want to say he was like a car salesman or something. But, and I knew his wife, and so he was having a reading with me. And this card came up and I said, okay, I feel like there's going to be like a contract or something that's going to come your way. And you need to be very careful. Really read the contract. Don't go jumping into it right away. Look at the whole thing. Look at the full picture. And I saw him a month later, and he told me, he said, you know what, you were so right. He had been offered a job, and he was going to sign the contract. And then somehow he didn't sign the contract. And the next day he was looking more at the contract and really reading it. And he saw something in there that didn't jive with him. It didn't sound right. And he had talked to some other people that had worked for that company. And he told me, he said he was so glad that he didn't jump and sign that contract. So that was, he was thanking me because he said he thought about, what I had told him. So that's what the Knight means. It's that, yes, you might have some experience, but this is something still new. Whatever the situation is, it's still new. And you still have to take caution as you trot into it. Um, and I'll just use this card because this is the Knight of Cups. I thought, what happened to my Knight of Swords? Okay, I was looking at something different. I'm sorry, I showed you the wrong card. This is a Knight of Swords. Okay. Notice how it's the unicorn. So the unicorn represents wisdom. Anytime I see a unicorn, I always think wisdom. So he is showing that he has some wisdom from the past, from his past experiences in this, again, remember, swords is conflict. So he's got some experience from this past conflict, but yet it's still, there's some new things that he's running into. So he needs to take that past experience and use that, but also be mindful of what some of the new conflicts or situation is, and stop and look at the whole picture. Don't go charging in. So he's like on this desert, and he's coming from mountains, and yeah, things are still kind of cloudy because this is all still kind of new for him. So he is being cautioned not to go charging in on the situation and making immediate decisions. So that's what the Knight is all about. Being caution, being mindful and careful. The next one is going to be, we did the Page, the Knight, the Ace. The next one is the Queen. So the Queen is feminine energy, okay? Think about, when I think about the Queen in any of the royalties, any of the suits, I always think about Queen Elizabeth. I mean, she was the mother. She was a mother queen. The Queen has been through a lot. She's had a lot of experiences in her life. She's well seasoned in whatever the situation is, and she can handle it. And she can handle it with dignity, and like Queen Elizabeth, you know. I mean, she can handle things with dignity, hold her head up, and keep moving forward. And she's been through a lot. She's a very wise woman. She has everything under control, but she has that loving, caring, feminine energy that we look for in a mother. She takes care of everybody. She feeds them, she clothes them, she listens to them and gives them advice. That's your Queen. So with that, we'll get on with the King. The King now is, of course, the opposite. That's the male energy. The King, if you think about a king, you know, even in a marriage, it's always the man that is concerned more about money. The woman, she's more concerned about gathering things and providing like food and clothing and things like that for her family. Nurturing, she's nurtures. Okay, the male though, he has his house in order. Like he knows he's got his bills, all his finances are taken care of. He knows where he stands with his finances, and he's got everything in order. So you think about like what a male, like my dad, for example, and I'll talk a lot about my dad, giving examples because he just passed away and I miss him. But anyway, so my dad grew up very poor, and as he got older, he had a really great job. He made very good money. He was not one that could put his arms around you and tell you that he loved you, even though he did. You know, being a female, I had a hard time with that because I'm a touchy-feely kind of person, and he was completely opposite of that. His love language was to work hard, and by working hard, he was showing his love to his family, because by his hard work, He was able to provide for us a nice home, nice clothes, good food, cars, medical, anything that we needed. He was able to take care of us in that way. So when I think of the king, I think of somebody like my dad. He had that male energy. He wasn't he wasn't all emotional or anything. He was all about working hard and keeping his house in order. And that is your king. So I'm going to wrap this up, and we will start on the next lesson in the next video, where we will be learning about, let me see. I had to break all of this up because I tried doing it one time where I did like a whole hour class and I couldn't download it on YouTube, so it really messed me up. So next we're going to be learning about the numbers and some of the major arcanas. So stay tuned. And you can watch it as often as you'd like once you become a Patreon member. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again very shortly. Bye-bye.